Hello and welcome to this learning nugget, the 3 levels of relationships. This is about choosing your level of relationship in a virtual leadership role. Relationships in a virtual world are even more important than in the co-located world. As we all know that relationships need to be built, need to be maintained, and you need to be fairly intentional with your relationships. This is even more important in a virtual context. I would like to recommend you to think about 3 distinct levels of relationships. The 3 levels are professional, personal, and private. And I go one by one deeper into what I mean about that one. So professional is get the job done. Personal is connecting to the person. Private is connecting to the person's social context. So what does it mean, the professional relationship level? Getting the job done is basically the headline. It's a collaboration for results. You connect at a professional level, you work together on tasks, you have relationships that build on the theme of getting the job done. That's really important because otherwise nothing would happen. But the question is always whether that is sufficient to what you need, considering the challenges of the task at hand. Maybe you should consider the next level of deeper relationships, connecting to the person. So connecting to the person, I mean it's a balance between what the cognitive side is and what the heart is. It's about human relationships, it's driven by the context, and it's knowing about the needs of the other person, meeting in certain connections, and really have a personal side to that one so you understand what the person or the people you're working with are thinking about the task, how they're driven, what are their main aspirations in their professional world. So you really understand what's important for them in order to balance off how you work with them and how you can interact with them at a more productive level. Some tasks are rather challenging and they may need much more than just a connection to the person. And this is the level of connecting to the person's social context. So it's more in the quality of a private connection. It's about becoming friends, showing deep respect for each other, a connection that feels real and deep, a connection of bonding. And some people call it even a connection with a family. That always depends how far you want to take that one. That's an individual approach to how you interpret the social context of a person. But really with that one, with the bonding in a person and in his social context, you understand even more what other challenges are the person sees working for you, what's really important in the whole life context for them, and why they behave the way they behave. So think about these 3 levels, and then it's really important to have something in mind when you make a conscious choice. And number 1 point I want to give you for your reflections is a rule of thumb in the virtual collaboration. It is the better your relationships, the more trust you have, hence fostering optimal collaboration. However, depending on what context you are operating in, watch out for cultural boundaries and watch out for individual preferences and needs. Not every culture allows a social context connection because it's very much the family and very much closed rather than open to colleagues or the professional environment. In the same way that individual preference of the personalities could be that they really don't want to connect with other people because they're more introvert, they need their own space and they're seeking their space in a social context. So when you think about your leadership role in a virtual context, Be really conscious about the depth of the relationships you consider necessary for fostering collaboration and necessary to get the task done. With that, I leave you with some questions for reflection, which you can find in our campus. And hopefully, with heart and mind solidly connected, you make your world